So hey anime fan, this the second part of the series. The series name is What If Naruto and Mira Oliver were teammate? Let's start the series. A low power kick to the ribs, one criminal gasp at the unexpected pain. It was later followed with a quick series of strikes to his bruised ribs. She ignored the man as he's reduced to fallen lumber. Naruto smirked, fatty number 12 is down. Feeling the air shift, she ducked and sidestepped as her next enemy tried to pitifully smash a crowbar to her right shoulder. She leaps back, performing a handstand, propelling her legs rapidly. The first kick bends the crowbar, the next broke the metal and hit her target, breaking his shoulder. Back at ya! She fist pumped. One serial killer thirsts to have the blonde boy's blood, after seeing the teen's display with his fellow killers. His bloodlust increase. He can't wait to swim in the child's fresh salty crimson. He dropped his weapon and released a crazed yell, charging at the 17-year-old. Naruto unconsciously caught someone's fist. Without realizing it, she jabbed number 14 on his pressure point, rendering him useless. She blinked at the slouched man from her left. Shrugging, she stepped over him and wiped the blood that splat on her shoes on his shirt. She scans the warehouse. Looks like no one escaped. Man, none of you didn't even give me any challenge. She complained aloud. Clapping both her hands, she focused on the circle hanging on her necklace, and created their prisons. Sighing, she focused, concentrating on the coral palm technique, and shot at all her prisoners. Once the troublemakers are secure, Naruto cancelled her transformation jutsu and alerted her men to move in. Good work, Lieutenant Colonel. Giving a harsh stare at her subordinate. I hardly consider this to be good. They weren't much of a fight. Hell, a practiced dummy seems to put more effort. I never gotten a chance to take them down using any alchemy. Twitching a smile, everything is just pure fist fight. She joked and reverted back to her serious facade again. Ah. Don't be like that, ma'am. I'm pretty sure the general have a new assignment for ya. Another Briggs man commented. Pondering, Naruto dreamily sighed, maybe I should have gone doing a massive genocide on Drachma. Heck, she became curious on what Obito and Madara were thinking. She heard Obito used to have been like her. They shared almost the same personality before he changed, so that meant he was fun. Massive genocide might be fun, if she was that bloodthirsty for revenge. Her mother would very much like an extinction to Drachma, but even Olivier wouldn't wish to terrorize her enemies. Scratch that, she probably would. The men laugh uneasily. They shiver remembering one of her pranks. How on earth did she made the fort home to many type of insects? The place was a humongous nest. They needed more than shovels to dig through. A few men are scared to crush a cockroach. Just the feeling of millions small insects with their creepy legs crawling all over them. Not to mention some became nests for a few bugs laying eggs in their skin, sent many men to Briggs's special psychiatrist. Briggs soldiers wouldn't have been the same if it wasn't for the general's ability to command bugs without even trying. Naruto was disappointed when her mother took away her new hive. At the end, Olivia let her keep the hive in the underground tunnels. Naruto noted that her men somehow turned pale. Her mother must have urged them to tell her she's needed immediately. Miles stacked the last piece of paperwork left for the general to sign when a gust of wind blew them. The cause of the whirlwind, sheepishly scratched her cheeks. Sweat dropping, the scarlet-haired adolescent gave him an apologetic look. Sorry about that, hee. Miles sighed. He has to rearrange them in order from importance to most likely trash. Shifting his goggles. When you come back from your next mission, I'll have all your paperwork ready for you to enjoy. There's nothing enjoyable about paperwork. Humph. It is when you want time away from the front lines. Peace and quiet. More like rotting my brain. She muttered. I think the general is waiting for you. Miles reminded the young girl. Miles observed the young alchemist sweating more than usual before she dashed down the next room. You're late, Gawa. Miles starts whistling, picking up the mess Naruto left behind. Olivier gives the young girl a stern look. Are you slacking? You of all people know how it is to be on time. Giving her adopted daughter/best companion a skeptical glance, and lifting her right arm containing the bracelet. Cocking a brow, giving a how simple is this? The younger of the two mentally face-palmed. Naruto composed herself, bowing to her superior. Sir, I'm told I need to be debriefed for my next assignment. The firstborn Armstrong beamed in pride, almost letting a genuine smile stretch upon her lips. Almost. And no doubt Naruto will become the next Briggs general if she wishes to. It took a long time to refine her very short manners, especially the tour training she gave teaching the young girl to stop insulting superior officers of her station. No matter if they're assholes. Especially if they're assholes, she'll not let her daughter be charged for something so petty. No, the right way would be destroying their command and claiming it was an accident with plenty of alibis to get away with. We receive word that the Full Metal Alchemists resolve a problem in Lior about a fake priest and religion. I heard of the Church of Leto. Naruto arched a brow. Wouldn't Lior be split and cause a riot? The older women scoffed. Do you think Mustang and his alchemist cares? He lets his dog out off his leash and gives him permission to wander around looking for something, damning the consequences for whatever goal, causing more damage than the amount they accomplish in getting their jobs done. Naruto silently analyzed the situation. Lior is surely going to be in a civil war if left alone. The alchemist doesn't seem like he would just abandon the place unless he had someone to take care of it. The teen is dangerously reckless. It's the thing, isn't it? The arm, leg, and the other Elric brother's body. Instead of performing another way to get into the gate, it's possible to avoid any harmful encounter with truth. The only method is the only item considered to be a holy fairy tale quest for unsuspecting alchemists, the Philosopher's Stone. Pity, she'll have to strike them if they lust for power. No need for another madman in the world. Besides that incident, at least he was useful in a coal mining town of Uswell. Your next objective is to be General Halcro bodyguard. Make sure they travel safely to their destination. Taking an envelope from her uniform pocket. Please give this to that poor excuse of a man as well. Yes, sir. Naruto scanned the whole compartment. Nothing lethal been hidden. Everything appears to be safe, sir. Naruto bows to the man, letting him and his family enter. She was about to leave and head over to where she'll be guarding until the higher official stopped her. You can stay. We have more than enough room for you, and the other guards are capable to keep us safe from a normal train ride. The man smiled uneasily at the child soldier. Really, the idea she's not that young, only a bit older than his son and in the military, made him want to question her parents. If she have any? She must be an orphan. Nodding, she slouched to the far corner near the door. She used the time to meditate and practice sage mode, making sure her hood is up to cover her face. She doesn't want to be questioned about her eyes. Wah! Naruto glanced at her charges, watching the family enjoying the train ride. Daddy? This is fast. Wow! The general's youngest daughter squealed. He smiled at his daughter. Didn't you promise Daddy we'd play a lot after we get there? The 11-year-old state alchemist smiled at the sight, but she couldn't help to feel bitter at Mustang. Not once did the man ever make time for her in his life to do things. In her eyes, his goal is always his first priority. They mostly butt heads whenever he doesn't want her to help or get to know his business. It might be selfish of her to resent the man. She wasn't the best daughter he could ask for either. They were randomly thrusted onto each other. Who knows? He might have been a lonely womanizer who drinks more than he's willing in front of her, with a hot-headed temper to set anything up in flames for no reason. Don't forget his godlike ego. Never mind. She's starting to think that will never change. Hearing the general's wife snapped her out of her funk. The lull she felt forebode trouble. She stretched her sensory range more, wondering what's wrong. Spending time with the family shouldn't be a sin. My second in command is the one who suggested to bring in an alchemist. Isn't she a little young? Asked his wife worriedly. She might be, but I heard good things about the Red Flash, he assured his wife. Although the woman felt unsure, but will take his word for it. At the moment, a clump containing negative emotions is approaching. The last sign she needed was a guard's life force diminishing to nothing. Sir! Naruto alerted. We have hostiles getting closer? Halcro half-assed, narrowing his eyes. I hope you're good as they say you are. My wife has your circle within her person. Vanish from sight, engage them, but don't kill. We'll need them for questioning, maybe. In this situation he can't take chances. Your first priority is to keep my family safe instead. Naruto nodded before vanishing from sight, a useful skill she learned from Jiraiya's spy tricks that'll allow her to be invisible. The first task she'll accomplish is making sure the civilians are free from being hostages. At most, the general's family will be alright for a while, since she's highly making a gut feeling, suspecting they are bargaining chips for this attack group. Stretching her field of range, she managed to lock on 2 people she wasn't expecting to be in this ride. She guessed either Full Metal or his brother can handle that train cart. She'll start on the cart next to them and work her way up. Ruffling her bangs in annoyance, she hopes this event at least give her some amusement. Elsewhere on board, the Full Metal alchemist, Edward Elric, is busy snoring. At least Ed is comfortable. Al noted. One of the henchmen feels like harming the blonde boy, irritated that the sleeping Brad is not taking him seriously. You can sleep pretty well in a situation like this, kid, jabbing his gun at the boy he yelled. Why don't you act a little more like a hostage, you shrimp? Edward's eyes pops open, the atmosphere tense as he stares murderously at the idiot who dares to call him a sea cockroach. Oh. You got any complaints? The man taunted. Edward darkened more. Fuck yes, he has complaints. 1. He's been woken up rudely by a brute with no fucking manners, pointing a gun at him like a caveman with a stick. Who the hell does that man think he is? Some whiny teen who'll shit himself at the sight of a gun. It's plain obvious his intelligence is comparable to a rock if he bugs a teen to wake up just to show him how much of a lame bad guy he is. The idiot is clearly using his firearm to overcompensate something he lacks. 2. Ed doesn't like the guy's attitude. God, he sure smells. Where the hell did he live? Behind an evil cow's butt? Ed wouldn't be surprised if that slimy white substance named milk is ordering a hit on him. That thing is evil. And 3. The fucking bastard called him small. Clapping his hands on the neck of the rifle, the blonde smiled vindicatively at the thug. He'll give him pain. Ed first transmuted part of the gun, shocking the dumbass, and then kicked the man's face with his automail foot. Hearing the crunch of bones beneath his foot sure sound like music to his ears. Alphonse facepalmed. He had a feeling this would happen. Not bad, punk. Ed glared. Great, another. We're told not to give any mercy to anyone that resists us. Henchman 2 explained. I don't feel right about shooting a shrimp like you, but... As the man was about to pull the trigger, Alphonse intervened, grabbing the man's arm. Now, calm down, you two. Pissed, the man angrily asked the armor boy. Would you want to put up a fight? The last thing he saw was something black jammed into his face. His nerves went aflame. Gah! Brother! Al screeched internally in horror, witnessing his older brother eloquently made a fabulous ballet leap with his knee out in front, and implanting it straight to the man's face. Who the hell is the flea-sized ultra shrimp? Alphonse watched worriedly. His brother was beating the man every inch of his life, while Edward is shaking the man around like a ragged doll. Brother! If you do any more than that, he'll die. Edward stopped, blinking around before looking at the slumped man he's holding, gazing questionably to his younger brother. Ed pointed at the near-dead man in his grasp. Anyway, who are these guys? Alphonse's head hung down, disappointed. So it was only a subconscious reaction from hearing shrimp. Big brother, we're in a hostage situation. Huh? Coughing. So, first we need to tie these guys up. Then beat them for answers. Ed? You already beat them up. Al pointed out, flushing in embarrassment. I'm still drowsy, goddammit. Whatever you say, brother. Lay off. Few moments later, other than us, there are 2 in the engine room. 4 holding the general in the first-class car, and 4 of us are guarding the hostages spread throughout the passenger cars. The man said tiredly. And? Ed threatened, bringing up his fist. He smirked, enjoying the man's terrified face. Shivering. Really, that's it? The passengers in the cart were alerted, knowing there's more, and whether they might come check on them once the group is aware on what happened to 2 of their members. They nervously thought they will not survive. If a certain somebody had acted calmly, this would probably have ended peacefully, right? Alphonse lectured. We can't move on if we only regret the past, little brother. Ed resolutely voiced. Ed stomped over to one of the windows. Can't be helped. I'll take the top. Al, you handle things down under, okay? Okay. A guy spoke out in the crowd. Just who are you people? Ed smirks in pride. Alchemists. He slowly moved out of the window. He didn't count the speed of the train. Ed tried to hold on, screaming in panic, till Alphonse grabbed him and started helping him up. Phew, right, I need to be more careful, he thought, steadily rising to his feet. Now I'm off. while Ed is braving the wind and trying to fight air resistance on top of the train. Alphonse observed and asked questions with the rest of the passengers in different carts. He discovered one or two individuals from the group strangely magnetized to the ground. Looks like a work from another alchemist. The transmutation circles are bizarre. He have no clue what to make of this. If only Ed was here, he might be able to take a crack out of these circles. Excuse me, miss? He asked a lady sitting and watching the view. Glancing, she tried not to flinch at the strange person wearing a suit of armor. Yes? Can you maybe help enlighten me on what occurred over here? Staring dumbly, yes. It was too fast for my eyes, but it happened in seconds. One moment they were just ordering us to stay still, the next they were knocked down in a red blur. If I didn't share my thoughts with everyone else, I sincerely thought I was going crazy. Thank you for your time. He turned and entered the next car, seeing practically the same thing. Except these guys are buried up to their necks with sand? How on earth is there sand in here? Was it the same red blur everyone was talking about? Whoever the alchemist was, one thing, the guy must be a master in a broad amount of categories to specialize in. Sighing, he began to repeat the same drill. Big brother must be having fun. Clunk, 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 boom, wahaha. Daddy, what was that? The daughter of the general asked. Halcro, curious, interrupted the young alchemist, who was currently reading a strange orange book. Lieutenant Colonel, what happened out there? She silently turned the page, scanning the inhabitants in the room. The troublemakers are barred up, check. Family just lounging, check. Weapons, check. Nothing is out of the ordinary. Blinking once, did you say something? The general's sweat dropped. What was the sound outside from on top of us? Oh. That, well, I placed an explosive bomb in case someone thought they had a smart idea to ambush from the roof. Naruto, I smiled. Rubbing his chin, I wonder who blew up. Shrugging, Naruto went back to her reading. Who knows? Probably a midget. Back to Edward, breathing heavily. Wah. Too close, too close. Pulling out his almost charred boot, a steam of smoke wafted out from his left foot. Edward relaxed as his foot cooled down. I would be a goner, if it wasn't for my left foot. Gritting his teeth, damn you. You're going to pay for this. He can't wait to strangle the life out of whoever was responsible for that bomb, but first, he have an engine room to recapture. When he reached to his destination, Edward peered inside only to see the men shoveling coal. There in corner are two men encased in an ice prison. Ed blinked. The ice aren't melting? How could ice not melt near a live furnace? Looks like he have to keep moving. Al must have done something. Ed highly doubt it, but if Al was able to copy the freezing alchemist, then it's likely possible his brother was responsible for that. He reached to the top, then slowly made his way. The crap. He is very paranoid with traps. How can anybody easily hide one from up here? Okay. Left foot here, right foot there. Left foot her. Lightning zapped Edward. Twitching, he decided traps might be bad for his health. Hey! What do you think you're doing to the tender? That's the life of the train. The conductor scolded. Sorry. Ed grimaced. Ed sat silently thinking, he can't make it across. The traps will surely kill him. He probably need to check on Al for this one. That's when he got an idea. HM? The tender? Naruto was reading one of her Ika books when she sensed an alchemist using alchemy. What the hell is that? If she was a teacher, she would give the alchemist a D on creativity. This might be getting interesting. Is it Full Metal or Armor Boy about to cause trouble? Attention all criminals. Naruto start drawing a barrier seal in the compartment. Her intuition is telling her she needs to provide cover. Please release the hostages and surrender yourselves. We have recaptured the engine room and the rear cars. All, double-checking her seals, she ushered the family to huddle in the center. Shaking her head, the alchemist is a reckless idiot. Doesn't he check, and how can he ignore all the prisoners she imprisoned? The dude have to be brain dead to be ignorant of obvious flags that someone already dealt with the problem. Hey dumbass! Do your job better! Naruto yelled. All hostages please hide behind shelter. The redhead probably would have felt remorse for letting the criminals almost drown, but she's not. The little kids giggled seeing how the rushing water avoided their small space. At least she opened the windows. Alphonse opened the cart door, water flowed out. An invisible question mark appeared on top of his head. Shouldn't they had flushed out? He checked inside, maybe they had the wrong car? Heed. Al internally squealed, the criminals were barred up already. Brother! Come down here, Al. What's wrong? Ed hollered. I think we almost drowned the general and his family. Al gulped. What do you mean? We almost what? The leader and his men are captured. Someone beat us to it. Wait, let me see. He dashed into the car and Al is completely right. The leader and his men are in prison and gasping for air. His eyes slid over observing the people in the car being completely dry, but his eyes were drawn to a female barely the same height as him. If she wasn't wearing her hoodie up, Ed would be praying for his mother for his stupidity. Ed can feel the massive KI she sent him. That female is not happy. Ed paled. Mustang won't like this for sure. He almost drowned the general. Hi, father. Naruto greeted. This is awkward. Hinata must be a saint. How can she put up with this every single day? Naruto struggled to contain herself. She will not flee from her own father. Behave. 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 Can't run away from him all the time. I mean, I can't ignore the arrogant prick. How the hell are we going to get along? Naruto. What did I said about calling me father during work? Mustang chided. My bad, she laughed uneasily. You said to never under any circumstances to reveal our relationship to others. You specifically ordered me to call you by rank only and no informal way either. If I want to be a dog of the military, then I'm referred to as dog and cannot pick a fight about it. Otherwise I will be grounded, stuck with you at home attached to the hip. Even when we have to use the bathroom, you won't care that it is deemed embarrassing as punishment for sneaking out multiple times. You can do this because somehow you convinced the others to let you leave early and finish paperwork at home. I still don't know how you manage that. Your lieutenant is more likely to shoot you than let you get away with it. Where was I? Oh. Yeah, I'm stuck watching you do paperwork and then become target practice to outrun your flames, or I'll be charcoal once you are done with me, just to show how my life is insignificant because it's my decision to join the military without your consent. Naruto deadpanned. Miffed, you shouldn't be talking. My undercover name is Naruto. She whined. Mustang would have busted out laughing like a maniac. He silently snuffed out the urge to hug his daughter. She reminded him of a cute baby fox pouting adorably. Humph. Well, I heard from the general that you've done a marvelous job bodyguarding, Roy said in a straight face. Thank you, Colonel. Is there anything else? Please, like how much work are you going to make me do? Naruto hope he can feel her ki. Roy sighed, scratching his hair. I also receive reports about my alchemist performance. No doubt the Ice Queen will be hearing about this and holds it against me. Do you wish to send any referrals to mark his record as a warning? If so, I'll need the paperwork hand-delivered to me, seeing as I'm his superior and responsible for the Elric brothers. The general was laid back about this and passed it on to you, seeing as you were the next highest-ranking officer above Full Metal. It's your decision in how you want to punish him for his careless actions when the situation were under control, and his faulty attack could be deemed as an assassination attempt, and could be seen as an enemy to the state. I won't be making any paperwork for this bullshit. Roy coughed. Where did she learn such language? Naruto huffed. He might have head straight without knowing anything for a genius, but I can sense he wanted to help. I won't do anything for that. So I won't be marking his records. The best I can decide is a personal punishment or favor he can owe me. Is that clear? Mustang nodded. Thank you. I will be sure Full Metal hear this. Puffing out her chest, yeah. He better be grateful he haven't aggravated me enough to prank his sorry ass. Naruto made numerous attempts to prank Roy, where he constantly comes out victorious unless it's one of his lazy or tiresome days. After her first successful prank, he took her pranking nature seriously after feeling the brunt of that trap. It is a great way to stay in shape. Honestly, his body is more hotter than ever in his opinion. Can't say about actually getting caught. If someone incur her wrath in a prank war, he automatically knew who's going to win, and has the necessary preparation in a phone call away for funeral arrangements, or a specified psychiatrist he has waiting on standby. Oh man! I almost forgot. My commanding officer want me to give this letter to you. Mustang hesitantly grabbed the letter. Who knew what that woman did to it? She probably placed a bomb. Okay, he will admit he's exaggerating, but that's one evil sadistic she-devil witch of a woman, although she's one attractive-looking woman. Naruto waited for her leave, but Mustang is still not finished addressing to her. How hard is it to read a letter? Suddenly, father burned the letter up, shaking in rage. Oh God, what is it this time? She mostly have to play peacemaker between them. She dreaded whatever argument they'll have in the future. Well, it looks like you'll be under my command until further notice. The ice troll mentioned how you're starting to get bored. Spending time with Daddy, not great. He probably won't let me do anything except paperwork. Naruto is itching to pull her hair. Well, that's good news. She doesn't have to face Miles with her pile of paperwork. You're still going to be doing paperwork. All documents will be transferred to here. A depressing cloud formed, darn. It must be Miles, definitely him. Naruto can hear all the tailed beasts snickering. Kit, you'll never win. If all the Kages fell against that thing, including your original father, then you won't either. The fourth even used Kagebushin, tugging on his daughter's ponytail. Come on, I'll have to introduce you to the rest. Nodding, she paced behind her father, whimpering about Miles not liking her. A blonde woman with a clasp holding her hair is diligently working on her own paperwork. Lieutenant Breda, she called, handing him a stack of paper. Right. He took the stack from her and reviewed the pages. Geez. The colonel's sure letting his work pile up again, huh? Havoc, give me a hand, will you? I've got plenty to do over here already. Havoc growled. Next up. Puzzled, he asked. Who's this? Lieutenant Yoki. Fallman answered. Remember, the crook who was using the Uswell coal mine concession to line his own pockets. Anyways, the Elric brothers exposed what that dirty thief was up to, and now he's on the run. A young short spiked-up hair officer is fiddling with an old radio. Riza paused. Master Sergeant Fury, how's the radio? Tweaking the radio more. Fury is still not receiving a reading. The receiver on this thing has seen better days. I think I'm going to have to replace it. Fury, still messing with the radio, gazed in awe as the old radio turned brand new right beneath his eyes. Huh! Fury spun around from his seat. He gasped. Hey, it's Edward and Alphonse. Hawkeye didn't blink, pulling another stack. Welcome back, boys. Go on in, the colonel's expecting you. Ed groaned dejectedly. Well done on the Lior case, you two. Nice work. I appreciate you resolving the matter. Mustang praised. No big deal. It's not like we did it for you. Edward retorted. Right. The Philosopher's Stone. Another false lead? Yeah, after all that the stone was a fake. He confirmed, placing his chin on top of his hand. Sharing his observation to Mustang. Even so, the power it gave Cornello was real enough. He transmuted this huge chimera right in front of us. I still wonder how he was able to use the stone to do that. I'm not familiar enough with the field of bioalchemy to really understand it. Alphonse stated, agreeing with his brother. Yeah, I'm kind of curious about that too. It might be worth looking into. Who knows, maybe we'll find something that could help us restore our bodies. It might help if you consulted a specialist. Mustang advised, searching through his files. Huh! Both brothers chorused. Fetching the piece of information he needed, Mustang laid the file open for everyone in the office to see. The Sewing Life Alchemist, showed Tucker. He's done some heavy research into chimera transmutation. I'll introduce you. You would do that for us? Alphonse breathed. Edward was not easily fooled, glaring. Okay, what's the catch? You want something, don't you? He concluded. Don't doubt my motives, Roy argued. I'm trying to repay you for your work on the Lior case. Turning his head away, grimly smirking. Doing you a favor is better than being indebted to you, he admitted. Speaking about debts, Fullmetal, what do you know about the Red Flash? He questioned. What about him? Ed scoffed. Why the heck should he know about the other alchemist? Ed is not the type to be listening in on rumors or gossip. I think he's the first alchemist under the command of Fort Briggs. He passed the exam a year later than me, some said the youngest. I know he's a rank higher than me because he completed more missions, which is a landslide from the amount I have done. That's all I heard. Is he going to be able to help me get the Philosopher's Stone? Ed scowled. Mustang arched a brow. No. Do you remember the train incident? Ed gulped. This is not about his mistake, right? And what's the red flash role in this? Alphonse, unlike his brother, pieced in the messing puzzle thanks to speaking with the passengers. Now he understood. The red blur and all the weird circles were from the red flash, and not to mention some of the passengers were unable to see a red blur on the lower cars. How fast can a person be? Alchemy can't do that. It defies laws. Grasping his head, Roy wondered why he'd deal with these boys. The short one with the bad temper often won't even listen to him. You're not getting a reprimand, Full Metal. The red flash was also on the train, stationed to be the general's bodyguard. You see, the alchemist decided not to mark you down on property damage or attempted assault. You were just in the moment, and wasn't aware enough someone beat you to it. Roy explained. The red flash will either personally choose a punishment for you, the alchemist did not like it how you endanger the general, or may decide that you owe a favor. Ed pondered. He's not technically in trouble, and it's better than what if he was in trouble. Ed can learn to deal with it. Colonel, we haven't seen the red flash on the train? Alphonse broke in. Where was he? Glancing at the invisible sleeping figure on his lap, Roy wondered if she was being a sneaky imp again. He knows she sometimes do impossible things that it is better to not question at all for fear of getting a massive headache. Roy winced thinking how he heard a rumor about the red flash being a 17-year-old boy. He drank so much that night. His daughter being a boy? She did many strange things. But he drank himself dry worrying about his 11-year-old capable of growing something that should not be on a girl. If it wasn't for Naruto checking on him, he might have died of alcohol poisoning. She might give him gray hairs in the future. Naruto should appreciate having such a handsome young father. Oh, why does she torment him to insanity? To answer your question, Alphonse, the red flash is not a male. Roy subtly pushed his daughter off him, but the Elrics don't know that. The red flash alchemist is actually Dash. Mumbling incoherent words, Naruto got the gif Roy wanted her to show off. Hyra shinning in front of the Elrics, visible. An 11-year-old. Ed was startled the moment she appeared in front of him. He blurts out. You're a girl. Father, do you really believe the boys can get help from Tucker? Naruto asked dryly. Edward wants to learn about biologic alchemy for his project he's researching about. Mustang answered while shifting more of his documents. A project? Is that what they are calling it? Tossing some his paperwork that he thinks are junk to the trash. He quickly wrote a reminder to tell Breda he should ask the maintenance crew to check who's stacking their cars into a pyramid. If I remember from the shock you gave me when you became the dog of the military. Mustang spitefully added. You and Tucker were the only two who passed the exam that year. So, I bet you have a clear idea how successful he was in his line of alchemy. Furiously signing a couple of sheets, maybe you should join us when we get to Tucker's residence. You two can have a class reunion if you like. Naruto's face scrunched up. I'll pass. Suit yourself, you and Full Metal surprisingly get along very well, he drawled. Flashback. Naruto tilted her head, scanning Full Metal from head to toe. Thanks for stating the obvious. Humming, I can't say the same for you though. Are you sure you are a boy? Your short stature and long hair points towards being a girl. Sputtering, the blonde bean sprout yelled. What did you call me? If it was possible for a suit of armor to turn pale at an instant, she probably believes objects has feelings. Naruto thought she's just imagining things. Note to self. Check if my books are crying out papers. She needs to stop throwing her books and shelve them later. Who are you calling short? That ants are taller than me because I'm the size of a breadcrumb. Facepalming, Mustang knew he's going to develop a headache. Full Metal doesn't look like he'll be calming down with the short comment. End flashback, rolling her eyes. I don't know what are you taking, but it has to be that good if you were imagining us not hissing insults at each other. Ah, yes. How can we ever forget you calling Full Metal a hermaphrodite? Mustang cocked his brow up, shrugging. So what if he thought she was a boy? She did build that reputation to be anonymous enough to have a nice, safe, peaceful retirement in the future. No way in her second life. if she does live long to decide about having a family. She's not going to have them be targeted for whatever accomplishments she's making, like how her original dad left her enemies from IWA. She could recall memories the third had wiped out from her. Those old generation IWA sleeper gather enough intel to warn IWA of a possible child of the fourth's. The third faked her records, labeling the fourth had a daughter with the Uzumaki's red hair. Seeing how Uzumaki's clan red hair appeared to be more dominant, since there was no records of any Uzumakis with a different hair color. Sadly, the imaginary daughter mysteriously died after the fifth assassination attempt. The sleeper tried to have revenge. Then the third explained the blonde baby is a hero to the public who wanted answers the following 5 months after the fourth's funeral once they cleaned up the sleeper problem. And the baby was given the surname Uzumaki in honor of Lady Kushina, who was the last of her clan. Oh man! She had forgotten she's helping Hohenheim. Avoiding making enemies in this life going to be hard. Well, good luck with the Elrics. Bye. If anyone asks why she jumped out a window, she'll deny ditching her father so he can handle 2 weird troublesome teens all by himself. No way is she going to be manipulated to babysit them. The red flash was supposed to be with you boys, but she ended up having so many cuts on her skin and was forcefully checked into the infirmary. Mustang I twitch. His daughter doesn't make it easy. It is like she has a sixth sense to know all his evil intentions. Ed praised whoever made it possible for the little. No! She's not his height. Annoying girl to miss out on them. He cursed Mustang for assigning her to join them occasionally. Trying to get along to work in a team is not an educated learn experience. I'll, unlike his brother, feel concern about the young girl. That's terrible, Colonel. Was there an accident on a mission she was assigned to? Mustang glanced at a specific cracked window from the building behind them. You can say she took a leap of faith to freedom. Ed stared questioningly at his CO. What the hell does that mean? He knew it's better to drop it when the bastard is giving a vague answer. It's not an important need-to-know information for them. Come on, Al. Let's get going, we're wasting time here. Once they situated themselves after entering the vehicle, Mustang decided the boys should know more about the Sewing Life Alchemist. Taking out the file he took, 2 years ago, Tucker transmuted a chimera that could understand human speech. That earned him his certification as a state alchemist. By understand human speech, you mean? Ed leaned forward, shocked. Wait, you mean it talks? A chimera? Right. Supposedly. It only said one thing? I want to die. Reading the rest of the report. After that, it refused to eat until it got its wish. Ed and Al sat in silence. That was the most depressing thing they ever will hear about a chimera. Roy carefully put away the file, seeing the house getting nearer. The car pulled over and he motioned the brothers to follow as he goes to ring the bell. Man, this house is huge. Ed breathed. Checking how tall the house is, he was surprised to see a giant furry creature soaring on top of him. He screamed as the thing plummeted and used him as a pillow for its landing. You okay, Ed? Alphonse asked. Couldn't help to feel pity for his brother. The door opened, revealing a little girl followed by a man they presumed to be Show Tucker. Nina, this is why I told you to keep the dog tied up. Murmuring more insults, Naruto shuffled more files into place. The bastard of a father never labeled these. While she is resting from her escape attempt, her glorious father, now commanding officer, she is stuck under order her to complete his work. If she knew this will happen, she would have never placed a ceiling tag on her to reduce her recovery time. Naruto withdraw her task. Her eyes darted from all the places in her hospital room she knows people can spy or eavesdrop on her. The coast is clear. She effortlessly performs the sign for her known trademark. 7 shadow clones poof into existence. What do you need, boss? One of you remove the tag off my hair. 2 of you will be covering these spots and make sure no one is going to accidentally come in. Place a privacy barrier, one that we can hear from outside this room. The rest is helping me on the old man's paperwork. Naruto commanded. Oh. The clones whined. Naruto doesn't blame them, but this will be faster if her clones cooperated. Pinching the bridge of her nose, the faster this is done. I will let you all have free time to wander off in the city. The group of clones managed to finish under 30 minutes and Naruto healed all her minor injuries under 12 minutes. Dispelling her clones, she called a nurse over asking for a release form. She gladly went through another checkup to prove her claim. Cloaking herself, she made sure the room was completely dark. She summons her clones back. Guys, you know the drill. Transform into something else and be careful of shadows. We got it, boss. In unison, transform. One by one they step out into the hallway. Naruto transformed as Shikamaru critically examined her clones. Why the hell are you in sexy jutsu? Naruto smacked one of her clones. The other clones wince a little, relieved they did not anger their boss. Shaking her head, well, at least they didn't transform into her old self again. The last time she let them run amok in a mistress. That was very hard to explain to someone why he's seen the same boy practically the whole. Thanks for her quick thinking, she made her debut as the Red Flash to the public. When words reached to high command, the Führer had to question her why she was being referred as a boy. Like all little girls that tries to hide something, she made up a lie about dressing up as a boy and about a pervert she thought someone was stalking her at first. Seeing how young and small she is despite having physical training, she explained for her safety that she would like to hide her gender. Elaborated to these pretentious greedy generals she knew, trying to lessen Olivier's reputation on her ability to take command. She simply stated she never said she was a boy, and had let the public form their own opinion. She felt no need to have them corrected since it doesn't bother her. The military had wasted their time trying to question her when clearly, she hasn't lied about her gender, seeing as she is listed as female on her file. They let her go quickly. The Führer walked her back to the train station, wishing her a safe trip. She may have believed it if wasn't for his wrathful aura swarming all around him. Safely boarded into the train, it was unnerving how the Führer keeps staring at her. Once the train fully departed out off the train station, Naruto let her guard down, consulting with the tailed beasts about the homunculus. Okay, she wasn't going crazy. Her sensory didn't fail her. This is basically a reality check that her job isn't going to be easy as she thought. The Führer is going to be keeping a close eye on her now. Yes, she won't be making mistakes anytime soon. Being transformed as someone else, she impishly planned who she'll mess with first. Her first list of victim is her father, but maybe not. He doesn't have a problem setting unpleasant people on fire. Her father's officer is part of her list, simply being that they are her dad's underlings. As much she wants to mess with the gun lady, that woman will have no problem blowing out her brains. Hell, she wanted to yank those guns and give the lady a taste of her own medicine. The many times she witnesses her father almost getting shot to the head, the blonde shouldn't have a problem if she gets trigger happy on her. The random times she checks on her father, she always catches the blonde woman pointing her gun at him. Sighing, her father has weird taste in friends. So far, she's glad she wasn't introduced to them. Thinking about her father's underlings, her thoughts traveled to her last memory of his youngest officer. She admits she had checked him out. His coloring had interested her. He had golden hair and eyes. She's not imagining it. In the sunlight she saw how they shine vibrantly like the metal itself. She's sworn they look familiar. Where had she seen it before? Marking that as unimportant in her mind, her time with Full Metal at headquarters was a little funny. Scratch that, it was hilarious. He really has an issue with all the short comment for some reason. His attitude was less desirable though. One of these days the boy will bite more than he can chew. Walking aimlessly near the marketplace, she bumped into someone by accident. Scratching her fake pineapple head, "Oh, sorry man. I wasn't paying attention where I was going." Naruto helped the sunglasses man up. Her eyes curiously glanced at his cross-shaped scar. The man rudely pushed her away, leaving to wherever he's heading. Shrugging her shoulders, what can you do if people don't appreciate help these days until they desperately need them? Naruto paused, hearing her stomach growled. Looks like it's lunchtime. Smiling, she ran to her favorite restaurant in East City.